Hey everybody, it's Jeremy. Welcome back to the Slowest Blitz, where we are playing Asphodel. My whole mind just like skipped a fucking beat there. It is turn 73, and it's the beginning of the end. Let's take a look at what is gonna happen. So, we have an assassination attempt. We still got that adventurer over here in this location. We do have a Minotaur. Yes, run to the Minotaur. Minotaur, awaken, protect us. Yes, protect us, Minotaur. Ah, no, he got one shot by the halberd. Ah, sadness. Coulda been better. Could have been better. Could have been worse. At least he tried. Didn't work though. We attack in Frosted Peaks. We've got a mishmash of various different things here. Runs into basically nothing. Take that out without issue. We get hit in Force the Lost. So, this is a squadron of wolves, Knights of Avalon, and monks. It does have a little communion, a little chorus with a Mother of Avalon here. So we sent out a bunch of shit. So we'll see how it does. The wolves shouldn't be a problem. What is she actually gonna do? So she chorus masters up. Monks are all blessing. That's fine. Mass regeneration. Yeah, that'll do it. Okay. So, the good news is we're gonna slaughter this. The bad news is that these knights are going to fucking destroy us. Are y'all aren't retreating? What the fuck? What's happening? Okay, we're just reorganizing to go after. Alright. Well, that's unfortunate. So the issue there is we never got the knights surrounded, which kind of sucks. And it looks like our Etten Mandragora, I don't know if he ever actually got into the fight. So he's back here. Yeah, he's holding for too long. So this is his kind of like final form, right? He does have 29 protection, 21 defense, pretty damn high magic resistance. So, you know, pretty fucking scary thing. If he were to get into any of the knights, I think he would actually do very well, but we had him on oh, yeah, he just walked in and smacked that guy. Well, that sucks. That's a fuck up, but it is what it is. So we end up killing basically everything else, but we don't get the knights surrounded. So unfortunately, we do not get a lot of them killed, and they do still kill a shit ton of things, right? Because that's the trait, right? The Knights of Avalon are always going to absolutely butcher a massive amount of the mannequins that we send at them. And unfortunately, in this regard, right, like, this is a good example of that concept of people saying, oh, if you have enough mannequins, they'll destroy the Knights of Avalon because they'll fatigue them all out, right? Well, the issue is, as always, is contact, right? Like, we have a shit ton of mannequins here, right? But dead, right? Like, there's only so many mannequins contacting the knights at any given time. And while that is happening, they're not being harassed down. Attacks are not getting through. Even at this point, if there was like a knight commander in them, and they hadn't routed after these dying, at this point, I think it entirely maybe not likely because of the Etten Mandragora. I think the Etten Mandragora coming in would be able to kill off knights as he came in. But these guys are still not getting surrounded, and only a few of them are actually getting very much fatigue on them. So it's entirely possible that this amount of knights still would have killed these remaining mannequins. Maybe not, right? Like, it probably would have been close, because there was fatigue on some of them, and every single one that gets fatigued out is then less mannequins that are dying. But it's a really, like, close situation, right? Like, of just getting to the point to where we have enough bodies in contact with the knights. Just by attempting to do that, we've already lost a large swath of mannequins. So it's a pretty interesting situation. But nevertheless, definitely a worthwhile encounter. Killed a mother of Avalon, killed several daughters, killed several monks, killed a couple knights of Avalon. So, you know, that's pretty good. We attack in Lovendalen. Again, another decent-sized force, this with some supported Leogryphs. But there are a bunch of knights and a bunch of monks here. So, this is not as big a force as the one that we just saw. And those Leogryphs are going to get butchered. Unfortunately. And then the two wings get annihilated by the amount of monks that are there. And it's done. Just donezo. Yike. So that was 350... 330 with 20 Leogryphs, but 350 bodies that just couldn't scratch them at all. But that also depends on the amount of monks supported, right? Like, as you can see, 144 kills on monks there, versus in Forest of the Lost, there were only 7 monks and they got 3 kills, right? So there's definitely a critical mass versus how much of a wall is presented to them. Look, it sucks. Okay, we get attacked, or we attack in Sylvania. So we sent some forces around his massive army, because why the fuck not? And there's not a lot here, but what is here is concerning. So we do have a Mother of Avalon, we do have a monk, we do have a Knight Commander with a Shock Trident and Girdle Helmet, and then the dreaded Knight Commander with a Charcoal Shield. So let's see how this turns out. Alright, we do at least kill the Mother pretty quick. And we've got our Vampire in here, which is interesting. I don't know if he's gonna do much. We need more bodies! More bodies! We're killing ourselves off as quickly as we can try to kill them. But the Banes are now in here, and the Banes are not going to immediately die to the Charcoal Shield. The regeneration is a pain in the ass, though. Even with them being fatigued out, the regeneration is still a pain in the ass. One goes down. It's the Shock Trident one. And the other goes down. Fuck yeah! Okay, so that was Sylvania. That's not how that happened, but it is close to how that happened. We did end up losing the Vampire in that one, but basically the rest of it happened pretty much the same. The Knight Commanders got fatigued out, the Whites came in and were able to do the actual hitting, as the mannequins tried to just immolate themselves repeatedly on the Charcoal Shield. So, ouch, but, you know, we'll take it. Is what it is. We also got a bunch of fucking items, but we don't really have anyone here to use them, so I guess some Carrion commanders are going to be particularly kitted out. We'll see if that amounts to anything. And then, you know, we were patrolling with a little bit of stuff in Asphodel, or continuing to do that, but we had mass patrolled in Shadowglade, or Shadowglade, Shade Forest, one of those two, whichever the throne is. I can never remember. But He went for the cap. So, this is what the ominous statement of this is the beginning of the end at the beginning of this video was for, right? So we know this is a massive, terrifying army for us, and is probably the end just off of the sheer amount of Knights of Avalon and monks. But, you know, there's always the chance, maybe the possibility, right, that, you know, like a rigor mortis play or just the sheer overwhelming number of mannequins that we have eventually presses through and we're able to defeat an army like that. But that's only in the concept that it's just an army of Knights of Avalon and monks, and it's not. There's a fuck ton of mages here. And even in that regard, okay, kind of fine, right? But there's one particular mage here that really matters, and that is this guy. And you can see what is above his head. And this is where it's the beginning of the end. Because time does not stop, but it slows fucking drastically. And then it's so fun to watch like projectiles fly through the air with time stop. It really is. Arcane domination. Anti-magic. Okay. That's a problem. That's a big problem. That's a big problem. That's a big problem. All right, so in Asphodel, we lose everything, and he gains some shit. we kill 18 wolves. Actually, yeah. Yeah. Yikes. So yeah, this is the end. Okay, let's take a look at things. We'll breeze through the rest and then we'll actually talk about shit, right? Troll dung has been found in Icton, which means trolls are nearby. Ore deposits in Helmshire. Upcoming arena battle. Cool. Asphodel is breached. Sylvania is moderately damaged. Let's talk about this as an issue. So, time stop is an alt 9. Cast at 125. Does he have any speed boost? We'll go check. He is kitted out with no speed boost. So there is that. But probably doesn't matter. Because as we saw in that battle, time stop coming out means that he can arcane domination before anti-magic goes up. Now, I do think that if we first turn cast anti-magic, there is a chance. I think it basically like just comes down to luck, but I could be wrong, right? I think because so anti-magic is 175, right? Anti-magic is 175. So I think if we and arcane domination is 300%. There's probably someone who will do the math and tell me no, arcane domination is always going to come out first. But I think it's when time stop comes out and he starts to cast arcane domination, I think they're basically rolling at the same time, and so there is a chance that anti-magic can come out first. but I think it is unlikely. If we had any sort of like enhanced casting speed or anything like that, we would probably be able to get anti-magic up. And that is the only way that it's not guaranteed slaughter. Is basically what it is. And you may ask, why? Well, the reason is that all of the mannequins are magic beings, right? So all of the mannequins are going to be affected by this, which is the vast majority of what we have. And if you take a look at the mannequins, a lot of them you're going to be like, oh, well, that's 12 magic resistance. That's 13 magic resistance. That's 12 magic resistance. That's 13 magic resistance. That's 13 magic resistance. You'll be like, that's pretty good. That's pretty decent. That's not horrendous. You're going to lose some people, but it won't be the worst. And if anti-magic goes off first, you'll be pretty good. Yeah. 12, 7. So all the bears are sitting at 7. All of the boars are sitting at 7. All of the behemoths are sitting at 8. All of the horses are sitting at 7. Basically, all of the animal-based mannequins have garbage magic resistance. Wolves at 7, right? And those are a pretty large quantity of what we're looking at. So part of the concept that I had originally, we're gonna fight this. We're gonna fight this because we've spent the last 30 turns talking about, hey, maybe not 30 turns, 20 turns at least, maybe 30 turns, talking about, hey, you know, we're gonna lose this, we're not gonna win, but we want to try to do a big fight and see if we can hurt him on the way out, right? The big fight is presented to us, but we're gonna lose. We know we're gonna lose. There's no point in us just like dancing around. We're not gonna be able to tech up anything. I consider the idea of maybe like we trade a bunch of gems to someone for like a casting helmet so we can try to guarantee anti-magic comes up. But again, it's kind of a situation where it's like, could we make it on our own? No, we cannot. We'd have to be 7. We would want Crown of the Magi. Faster casting. Could we even do that if we had 7? Probably not. Oh, we could. We could do it on this gray one. But we don't have 7. And we don't have the gems, even if we did have... Well, we could alchemize a bunch of shit. But regardless, the point is that, yes, we could take a couple more turns to try to guarantee that we get, you know, like, increase our chances of getting something like anti-magic off, which would drastically improve our chances of causing more damage. But I don't think that it's going to make us win, right? Because obviously, time stop arcane domination is a problem, but that is just part of what is going on here. There are a billion mages here, and he's got a shit ton of stuff coming out. He is teched up at this point. We can see Howl. We can see Relief. Those are all kind of like basic whatevers. Where's the big stuff? Give me the big stuff. Twilight comes out. There's Army Regeneration. That comes out. We've got Will of the Fates. We've got Wind Guide coming out. We've got Hail of Burning Embers coming out. We've got, I believe, all of the Fens. We've got Legions of Steel coming out. It's a whole bunch. This is not a one-trick pony. This is pretty much everything. I think just about the only thing that he doesn't have is some sort of high protection buff. Right? Like, He doesn't have Army of Mist. It doesn't look like. He doesn't have some sort of high protection buff, and he doesn't have some sort of he doesn't have like battlefield wide luck. But he does have troop luck, right? So that is getting spammed out, I believe. So yeah. There are things that he is basically there are things that he is missing from this, but it's pretty massive. 79 monks, 10 mothers of Avalon, 7 witches, a worm mage, 11 wise men, a golem, 47 daughters of Avalon, 8 crones, a blind one, which is a unique hero, 9 bards. There's a metric shit ton here. So I think we're pretty much fucked regardless of what we do. Even if we like delay and we trade for a fucking helmet, or, you know, we're at right about 1,000 research per turn. We couldn't get to 7 in time, right? Like, I don't think that there's any way. Maybe. So we're not gonna bother, right? We're just gonna fight, and we're just gonna hope. Not much, actually. We're not gonna hope for much. We're just gonna be like, okay, this is the end. This is what we expected. Let's fight, and maybe we'll get lucky and do a fair bit of damage. Most likely, this is, you know, this is going to be relatively one-sided, probably because Arcane Domination is going to beat the shit out of us. Now, the other... I started to talk about this earlier, but I broke off and started talking about other things. One of the things that I did consider doing is basically just not bringing any of the animal side of things. And I don't... So... We've got 70 there, we've got 58 there, we've got 96 there, we've got 42 there, we've got 245 there, right? So we would be losing probably about 500 or so out of Shadowglade, and I think it's a pretty equal proportion, or pretty comparable proportion out of Asphodel as well. We're bringing nearly 2,500 troops to the fight here. And I think at the end of it, if we pulled out all of the lower magic resistance troops, well, I say not all lower magic resistance troops, because it's just Arcane Domination. It's not Master and Slave, right? So it's not going to target everyone. But even with just Arcane Domination, if we pulled out just the lower MR mannequins, we're losing around like 800 or so. So we're sitting at like, what would that be? Close to like 1,700-ish, which maybe that is the better choice, sending 1,700 against basically 1,000. And not having as many bodies to be hit with Arcane Domination. But at the same time, again, I'm relatively certain that Arcane Domination is going to go off before Anti-Magic, although I think there is a chance for Anti-Magic to go off. And so it's a scenario of, even if we don't bring the low tier MR guys, we're gonna lose some. So we're gonna be bringing less people, and we're gonna lose some of them to the Arcane Domination anyways. And we're still gonna lose, right? Like, even if we lose, say, 200 units to the Arcane Domination when we're bringing in 1,700. So we're sitting at 1,500, fighting 1,200. Even without that, even without losing the 200, I still think we lose the fight, right? Probably. But basically what I'm trying to say is I don't think that there's any way for us to min-max this to the point to where we win. It's just maybe we can min-max this to the point to where we do a little more damage. Is basically the concept. And so rather than doing that, I just want to kind of bring as many fucking bodies to the field as I can. I just kind of want to fuck around. Like, this point in the game, when there's nothing, when there's, you're not gonna win. I have never brought nearly 2,500 troops to a battle, and I kind of want to do that. So that's what we're gonna do. So let's take a look at what we are going to try to do. We got blocks all over the place. This really doesn't matter. The entire side of my battlefield is going to be one massive block. There will be no gaps. It will just be a massive block of everything, everywhere, all the time. So there is that. Let's see if we've got any crazy stuff going on. We've cleared out. Oh, we haven't cleared out. We should have cleared out the treasury. We almost cleared out the treasury. We've got random stuff on random people, right? Like this Centaur Hierophant has a bunch of experience on him. So we put a fucking Frost Brand on him and he's going to try to go in and do some stuff. We got a bunch of group luck. That's all the same. We've got a bunch of quickening. That's all the same. We do still have Army of Rats. That's the same. We do still have a Light of the Northern Star going on. We still have a bunch of sprites coming out. We have a bunch of Creeping Doom coming out. We put a bunch of gems on people. So we've got that going on. More sprites, more quickening. We do still have the whole Communion Master anti-magic thing going on. This is changed. I believe this has changed. Bunch of Giant Strength Warriors. We've got Doom coming out. We've got Army of Shades coming out. We have... Okay, yeah, so this has changed. We've got Marble Army, Firefiend. Basically, the whole thing that we did last time. Basically, everything has stayed pretty much the same, except we are gonna try to get anti-magic up first. If anti-magic goes up first, then maybe we have a chance, but again, I kind of doubt it. There are so many monks and so many Knights of Avalon and so many mages and so much everything. I just don't think that we can kill them. I just really don't think that we have the effective means to kill them. But you know, maybe Rigor Mortis will seal the deal there. Rigor Mortis and Fatigue from all of our mannequins. But we're gonna try to throw anti-magic out there first, but I'm pretty sure Arcane Domination hits first. So I'm pretty sure it's a moot point. We'll see. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. More Giant Strength. We've got some various stuff. Rigor Mortis is going out later because my assumption on it is that it's not going to matter in the first couple turns anyways. It could immediately pop and fatigue or assist in fatiguing someone, but from what I saw, he's got so many mages that he's casting his major spells initially. So they're not going to get hit by Rigor Mortis and then not be able to cast other things. Whereas I have a lot of mages that are doing that type of shit. So Rigor Mortis could actually fuck me and is unlikely to fuck him. In the beginning, right? Like in the first like turn or two, it's not gonna like make the difference, right? It's not going to cause someone to stay fatigued who has just cast a spell, or it might cause someone to stay fatigued who has just cast a spell, but it probably isn't going to matter for him because he's got so many mages that all his big spells are spread out, right? So I don't think that that's gonna matter in the long run. We'll see. Maybe it does. Maybe that's a stupid decision. Army regeneration coming out. Serpent's Blessing. Howl. We've got a bunch of polymorphs coming out. Because why the fuck not? That's a fun little thing to do. More sprites. More sprites. We are doubling up on certain things. We've got a Carrion growth, an Army of Giants coming out. We've got Puppet Mastery coming out. We've got a whole bunch of random shit. I expect this to be a loss, right? Like, this is the result of a war coming to a stalemate, but not really a stalemate. I will reiterate, I think man could have killed me 20 turns ago, but it would have cost them more 20 turns ago, right? And at that point, I was out, right? Like, I no longer had an income. I no longer had a real economy. So it didn't matter, right? Like, it was a Cold War that man was allowed to, like, they could continue to just tech up and scale up. They don't have great scales, mind you, but they were still allowed to kind of scale up from what they had and go from there. So this is just the result of that kind of situation where I failed to hit the goals that I wanted to and should have focused on hitting, and because of that, we just fell behind on researching. So this is pretty indicative of that type of situation. I'm not lamenting that we're probably going to get our asses kicked in this fight. I'm actually kind of excited to see how this goes down, because I don't see a lot of this type of stuff. I've been playing this game for probably, I don't know, 6-ish years, 6+ years now, and in a multiplayer game, in an actual, like, competitive multiplayer game, I can probably count on one hand the number of times, maybe two hands, the number of times a game has gotten to the point to where stuff like Time Stop Arcane Domination or Time Stop Master and Slave has come out, right? I'm sure that it does happen more frequently, but specifically it's kind of like happened to me, right? So I am pretty excited to see this go down, especially Arcane Domination, because Arcane Domination is one of those things that is kind of rarely used because it only targets magic beings. So people often kind of go for the, and it's still super high up in tech. It's still fucking tech 8, right? So you'll see people just doing Time Stop Master and Slave, or just straight up Master and Slave without the Time Stop, and that's that. Like, Arcane Domination kind of gets pushed to the side. But Arcane Domination is a great thing to use against Asphodel because all of the mannequins are magic beings. And that's just really neat, right? Like, that's a really cool kind of like niche thing. It just goes to show that there are so many fucking spells in this goddamn game, and a massive amount of time, a lot of them are kind of like niche weird things that you're not going to use. But my god, in the instances that they get used, they can be ridiculously effective, which is really fucking cool. So we're sending everything in Shadowglade into Asphodel. We're sending most of what's in Asphodel out of Asphodel to break siege. We'll see how that all works out. And we're going to attack a couple of other different things. Mostly just trying to cause damage on the way out, right? Like, maybe pop a temple here, maybe pop a temple here. Maybe kill some knights here or something like that, right? Like, just trying to cause damage as we go out. We will have plenty of more turns to potentially Death Basket or something like that. So, like, this is not going to be the final turn of the game for us, but this is likely to be the end of any meaningful resistance that we have to show against man. Or I'm wrong, and this goes miraculously in our favor, and we go, wait, what, huh? And we see how that turns out. So, that's pretty much it. No reason to draw things out. Thanks for watching. Big turn next turn. I'm gonna laugh my ass off when he's just not on Asphodel next turn. Bye-bye, everybody! Hey everybody, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, consider leaving a like, commenting, or subscribing. It really helps me out. If you'd like to see me live, head over to my Twitch at twitch.tv/thedistanthorizon.